hear them coming out for a smoke every now and again, so be...
In 2011, a developer by the name of Eidos Montreal took a crack at reviving Deus Ex, and they did a pretty good job, returning it to the glory of the first game and repairing the series from some past blunders. The game was called Deus Ex Human Revolution, and it got a director's cut later in 2013. In 2016, the sequel to that game was created by the same developers, called Mankind Divided. It introduced many new features that add to the Deus Ex formula. And with that, let's compare these new features with Human Revolution, and see which game is better. So, let's start off with gameplay. Now, the first thing to note is that both of these games have better gameplay than the original Deus Ex, and I hate to say that because Deus Ex gets the elderly discount, but things have evolved since then for the better. The new systems include a takedown system and cover, of which MD has more freedom but isn't as polished. Just like the original Deus Ex, both of the games have non-linear quests. Human Revolution is better in this aspect, but not by far, especially in Singapore. A new thing that the games introduce after the original Deus Ex is using dialogue to get out of sticky situations. Human Revolution is much better. The detective chat and Bill Taggart were great, though the Darrow conversation was super disappointing. As for RPG mechanics, Human Revolution ditches the skill system from the original Deus Ex, and Mankind Divided keeps it that way. The skill system is now integrated into AUGs. I found there was very little specialization in Human Revolution. There is more in Mankind Divided, but still not enough to stack up to the original Deus Ex. Persuasion is not a skill in this game, it is instead a minigame. Though, an augmentation may up your chances of winning. It is only through hints, however. Next, let's look at stealth. Due to the cover system, Mankind Divided may be considered slightly easier in this respect. Unlike 2000, stealth and non-lethal weapons are now ranged, and there are no melee weapons. There are, however, non-lethal takedowns. KO'd enemies will now be awoken if found by a teammate. There are a couple states in each game. Human Revolution has Ghost, Alarmed, and Hostile. Ghost is not the official name, but has no name in the game. It is when nobody knows of your presence. Alarmed is either when a body is found or a noise is heard, or when an alarm is going off but nobody sees you. Hostile is when they see you and are opening fire. Mankind Divided saves Alarmed for when an alarm is ringing, replacing the reaction to a body or noise as searching. It will show a searching percentage, and when it reaches 100, they will go back to their default state. Panic is when civilians hear or see violence and will cower. During this time, they may look for law enforcement. These games greatly reward you for stealth, and especially non-lethal with points to spend on AUGs. If being the foxiest hound is not your playstyle of choice, you can always go in with a triple-barreled assault rifle. Loud. If there's one thing I hate about modern stealth games, it is that enemies know exactly where you are when things go loud. Deus Ex does not do this, and it hasn't since the original. Things can go loud and then calm down again in both games. Mankind Divided introduces a new modification system, which is really incredible. There's more about this in the gunplay section. Otherwise, loud is about the same. There are some other parts of gameplay. Mankind Divided introduces a crafting system, which allows you to craft ammo for experimental augmentations, multi-tools, biocells, and weapon modifications. I love this system. Hacking, however, is much worse. It's rendered as an isometric angle. It looks nice, but is otherwise bad for gameplay. The routes will cross each other, causing confusion, and just, what is this? If there's one thing about hacking I prefer, it's the amount of softwares available. Some systems, however, have been improved, such as the new dialogue system, specifically the augmentation meant to assist you. I love the new personality type meters and new information about the character you are having a conversation with. Human Revolution got plenty of hate on the boss fights because it forces one single guns blazing approach, which meant issues for people who put all their praxis kits into cloaks and stealth augmentations. Human Revolution Director's Cut and Mankind Divided went different ways solving this issue. Director's Cut remade the boss fights, allowing you to hack turrets to do it for you, or flood the stage with poisonous gas, for some examples. Mankind Divided does it by not having boss fights. Only one is present in the game, which I don't have experience in since I just use the kill switch in the next room over. In a game where combat is always an option, gunplay is important. Human Revolution feels like toy guns, and Mankind Divided feels like real guns. In Human Revolution, modifications were permanent. In Mankind Divided, they can be switched out. Because of this, Human Revolution modifications usually mean upgrades such as, the silencer makes your gun quiet. In Mankind Divided, modifications are treated more as trade-offs. The silencer makes your gun quiet, but it does less damage. I love Mankind Divided's gunplay, and it is so much better. All of this gameplay is a method to tell the story, in which Human Revolution wins. There's your answer. Human Revolutions got super close to making my eyes sweat, and games don't do that. The second visit to Detroit was extremely emotionally thick, and seeing Radford bleeding out and talking to Michelle really almost got me. The Missing Link was a great DLC. Great story, characters, and abs. The one part of Human Revolution that was disappointing was sort of the ending. While epic, it could have been so much better. The Hugh Darrow conversation was super disappointing. You're old and stupid is all it takes. I would have loved something that lasted 10 minutes longer, so. Mankind Divided is half the length. I hope Deus Ex 5 is called Mankind Divided 2, because this felt like the first half of a game. The ending in London was sadly the only part with the nice Deus Ex atmosphere. Maybe the bank too. Like the OG Deus Ex, the ending seemingly comes out of nowhere. The story begins to pick up, bam, ending. One thing I do like about Mankind Divided's story is more depth on the conspiracy part. I think how the Jensen trilogy should go is slowly, installment by installment, getting closer to the themes of the original Deus Ex, and this is just that, as Manderley and Page are now major characters. Another thing needed to tell the story is graphics, and Mankind Divided's graphics are insane, just beautiful. Human Revolutions are okay. One place where HR wins is performance, and I mean relative to the graphics. Mankind Divided is beautiful, not exactly deserving to melt PCs though. In Human Revolution, I could get around 300 FPS. In Mankind Divided, I could get around 70. This is with a 1660 Super, which I will admit, Mankind Divided is totally playable. The sad thing is, at this rate, I will absolutely not be able to run Deus Ex 5. Turn your settings to high for Mankind Divided. The biggest changes in Ultra settings is worse FPS. One of the most important things in the Adam Jensen saga is augmentations. Human Revolution has some cool augmentations, such as invisibility, a shield, and strength. There are also some ability augmentations too, like punching through walls, superhero landings, and the Typhoon. Human Revolution has cool augs, Mankind Divided has DOPE augs. Mankind Divided has amazing augs. It introduces experimental augs, such as nanoblade launchers, Tesla, it's just Iron Man, and the Beppis gun. The Beppis gun. Mankind Divided has augs that serve as a skill system, like recoil reduction. In conclusion, I'll tell you my favorite right after this for Human Revolution. Mankind Divided is absolutely not far behind though. To sum it up, Mankind Divided is if you took all the changes in HR from the original and doubled them. Worse story, no atmosphere, industry-leading graphics, and amazing gameplay. The balance for me is Human Revolution, in which I tie with the original Deus Ex. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and